Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and the adjudicator. Let me introduce myself. My name is Hansen Dafa from SMA Negeri 1 Pontianak. In today's debate, I am the first speaker of the opposition side. In today's debate, I will deliver the topics that we're gonna discuss today, the background cases about why this motion can be risen, the definition of the topics by the keyword, and also the parameter. And the important thing is rebuttal and also my argument about the efficiency of the funding. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get started. The first one is about what is the topic in today's debate. Today's debate we're gonna discuss about this House prefers the strategy to pushing for institutional reform to address police abuse and misconduct rather than defunding the police. At this point of the topics, we are disagree about this motion. Why? But first, let me state the background cases. The motion can be risen because the different point of view strategy against the police brutality in America. In society, some agree about the institutional reform because it would be stronger. Because of what, ladies and gentlemen? Institutional, it based on constitution that mandatory and bound to the police. But for someone that disagree about this, said that the institutional isn't effective if there is still police with a racist and abusive personality, ladies and gentlemen. Because everything that we do in society is based on our personality, not what we have. So if there's institutional to decrease the staff or also the weapon would be not effective because the abusive or the racist is not about the gun that we have, but it's about our personality that we want to do, or the willingness. Moving on to the definition. In these topics, we can find two definition. The first definition is the first keyword is institutional reform, means about reform the constitutional against the police brutality with a new draft that mandatory and board to the police. And then the second one is defunding. Defunding the police means reallocating or redirecting funding away from the police department to other government facilities or agencies and programs such as social services, youth services, housing, education, healthcare, and other community resources. By this definition, ladies and gentlemen, we can define that this the motion is this House prefer the strategy to institutional reform about constitution to address police abuse and misconduct rather than defunding the police or allocate the money to make a new society or new form of the police. Moving on to the parameter. I will now state the parameter because the parameter is already suitable with the Prime Minister parameter. So we're gonna moving on to the rebuttal. Ladies and gentlemen, moving on to the rebuttal, I disagree about the Prime Minister's side. Ladies and gentlemen, let me clear this thing. Racism is like a virus spread around the world, not only in America. The racism can be risen is because there is different in the society, especially about the color skin. So it will make sense if there is a racism action in the society that has a different identity, especially the color. Ladies and gentlemen, by this statement we can conclude that racism by the police is not because armed of the weapon, but it's all about the personality of the police. Ladies and gentlemen, first they had a first if the at the first they already had a racist personality, it will be a really possible if they do a abusive action even without the weapon. They can use their identity as a police to protect them from the constitution or punishment and just act abusive with the protection of police or government identity. They can also do the abusive verbals that will make that not happen without a weapon, but it can harm people and also make a conflict in society. So to minimize the armed weapon would be not effective against police abusive because the racism is about personality. And also to make make a form of the police, the color police, will be less effective. Two, we can take for example like George Floyd case. There's still a color police or color staff in that case. So which means that the institutional reform to this color staff will be not effective again. So the institutional reform to the police brutality because race is not effective because it's all about personality, not what they have. So moving on to my argument, first I will state the mechanism. First is institutional reform. At this context, that constitution that arrange police works and responsible should be reformed to the new and more effective one for the diversity police, and also the minimize of weapon and armor for the police. And then the mechanism of defunding the police means relocating or redirecting funding away from the police department to other government or to other government agencies or society. Status quo right now is in America right now there is still this thing like the recently case George Floyd and also Jacob Blake to the victims of the police brutality in America. So which means that the abusive police in America still the same, and also the police that doing that already in punishment and also in the jail. Moving on to my argument about the defending effectively, what should we do to make the police brutality decrease? We believe the funding system will be the great against the police brutality. With allocate or relocate the fund of the police to the community service to build and form the strong society, educational society, and also healthy society, will minimize the criminal rate at that society, ladies and gentlemen. So we don't need to put a really high amount of police in the society to representative decrease the criminal. But instead of doing that, we can use the allocate fund to the society to prevent the criminal, because the criminal actually happen in the society because of education, minimum educational and security in that area. Make the gang could oversee the environment and doing the violent thing and also the criminal things. With educational environment and also help to make healthy environment, it will be great because something like criminal things, it can be happen because unfairness or the low educational. So it will be great to do the defund system that can minimize the criminal automatically in the area. That's why we disagree about this motion, and I will support my argument. That's all from me. Thank you for your attention. Goodbye.